Alright, folks, this is about the Natalie Bollinger movie. I've had a few folks reading through a lot of different messages and all that. A lot of these YouTube channels and such. A lot of people think it's a really good idea for them to make that into a movie. I think that's a wonderful idea. Absolutely, they need to turn her story into a movie. That's probably the best idea since turning poisonous peanuts into peanut butter. If it weren't for George Washington Carver figuring out how to take something poisonous and make it edible. Thank you, sir. Now, there was an important piece of evidence in all of this. And one of the gentlemen today shared it. And it reminded me after listening to it why it is that I had made that one private to begin with. I'm going to play it for you. It's from the 12th of December of 2017. The day that I exposed Ted Bollinger for molesting his daughter. Now, her conversations went a lot more into detail with me. We talked in person, and, back then I didn't have the ability to record, didn't know how. I had to learn this all after Natalie was killed, and I detailed a lot of that today on my YouTube channel, or on my Facebook channel, I'm sorry. The thing is, if they make a Natalie Bollinger movie, they're going to probably consult Natalie's predators, which would be her family. And they're going to take the biased BS, but not look at any of the actual evidence, just like the courts, just like all of the cops, making every excuse to look the other direction. Well, they've been trying to shut my voice down for forever. The thing is, if they make a Natalie Bollinger movie, millions and millions and millions of people are going to see it. I was treated like I was crazy for saying that 94,000 people saw just one of my videos from around the time that Natalie was killed. 94,000, almost 94,000, sorry. They treated me like I was crazy. Oh no, but that guy was old as hell. He doesn't understand how quickly this stuff gets out, especially when it's all over the news. It's not like the 80s where you see it on Denver 2, but if you're not on at 6 o'clock, you're not going to see it. You got to get there at the right time to watch the news. In the 1980s, there was no going back and watching it on the internet. But now there is. And, that's something that needs to be accounted for. The things that I said were true. The things that I was treated like I was crazy for saying. You guys got to see that those things are true on my YouTube and on my Facebook, that I'm telling the truth. And they still want to push that it's fake thing. But also with that, there's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to try to destroy my Facebook 10 times harder than they ever did. They're going to try to destroy my YouTube channel 10 times harder than they ever did. They're going to hit it with a vengeance. They're going to try to destroy every word. They're going to destroy every piece of evidence that they possibly can. They'll get Dalton Crawford involved. They'll get Braxton Burns involved. These are two of Natalie Bollinger's friends who wanted to threaten, harass, and stalk me after her death. There's a few of them who did the same before she was dead, like Jonathan Hickson. It's been a tough journey. There have been so many officers that I told on that have been arrested that it's probably a good idea to stop pretending that I'm schizophrenic. Also, with all of my arrests, and the fact that I was literally sent to prison, the fact that I have been put in jail over a dozen times since Natalie's death, I have been injected with drugs at institutions or jails on 16 separate occasions. I went back and looked. Went back and counted them all. Because some of those locations, they did it to more than once. The message is loud and clear. You don't try to tell on the police. When they take you to those places, if they were to take me to those places with my phone while it still had internet access, I could show them everything that I'm saying is true. I could go to everything that I need to say, hey, you see this? This is true. This is the evidence of it. You want to listen to it? You want to listen to Wendell McPhee? Would you like to listen to these people? Would you like to hear Sandy Fromm? She's on my YouTube channel. See, my story isn't just the story of Natalie Bollinger, but the story of the Hades that was created for me because she was a drug addict who wanted to make her family happy, and they didn't love her. They did not love her. Or at least they didn't love her right. Because of their own addictions. And she did the same thing that they did. She projected it. People will take a look. They'll realize that the things that Natalie Bollinger was claiming were slander were true by her own words. They absolutely were not slander. They were 100% the truth. They make a Natalie Bollinger movie, a lot of people are going to look at this stuff. A lot of people are going to see it. A lot of people are going to ask questions. A lot of people are going to look at the mental health system here in America and how the United States government and every state in the Union victimize the homeless and the disabled, especially those they can call mentally ill. This is a story of bias. It's a story of racism. It's a story of hatred. It's a story of the worst of this country. It is a story of the drugs and the dredges. It is a story of death. It's a story of murder. It's a story of drugs. This is our country now. It's a story of corruption. It's a story of most of the country looking the other way to what is blatantly obvious. If there's a Natalie Bollinger movie made, people are going to ask Laura Nelson questions. They're going to ask her those questions. Why didn't you come forward, Laura? Why did Sean have to record you? Why didn't you come forward? Dee Dee Clang, why didn't you come forward? Rachel Clang, Rodney Clang, why did you mess with Sean for so long and claim that you would help? Samuel Leon Lawrence IV. They're going to ask all these people questions. Now these people can try to destroy their Facebooks like some people did. Most of them don't have burner accounts though. We sent our messages over their actual accounts. If they try to destroy our conversations, they're committing more crimes and they're going to get a lot of trouble, especially since I took a bunch of screenshots. I've got over 10,000 screenshots, folks. Yeah, a lot of the stuff, especially when I'm in an overwhelming environment, you get to see how I have difficulties communicating. How the words don't come out right. How there's... You know what stuttering is, right? It's that someone's brain is too fast for their mouth. I have a stuttering problem. Most of you can't tell because I say or I pause, or I take a deep breath. It's because my brain is way too fast. I don't think it's too fast. It's just too fast for my mouth. And every time that I bring up the subject, there's all of the connecting evidence that I have in my head all at once, and my mouth obviously can't tell you about all of the evidence at once. I can't tell you about the stuff with Graham Milburn while telling you the stuff about Laura Nelson, while telling you the stuff about Jordan Anderson. Those were all three people who were there for just one of these scenarios, but each one of them has individual details that are also important. And as soon as I start speaking about it, as soon as I say Jordan Anderson, Alicia and Ted Bollinger messing with me at my grandma's funeral, getting the screenshots of it. All of that runs through my head all at once. And when I'm in an environment where I have very limited amount of time, like every time that I make a video, I have a very limited amount of time to do it in. And I have to do everything within my technical abilities. You know, a lot of you guys, especially you younger folks, you get angry at me because I'm not doing what you want me to do. These are things that you know how to do. You've been playing with these smartphones since you were 2 years old. For me, I don't know nothing. I mean, I learn as best I can. I try to get my story out best I can. A Hollywood movie about Natalie Bollinger, that's a scary thing. A lot of these people who spoke up or stuck up for me, or are now currently, will likely get targeted by wingnuts as soon as they see the movie. They'll probably have people threatening them the way that I've had them threaten me. They'll probably have people throwing stuff at them the way they threw stuff at me. Of course, they could have come forward at the very beginning, and that's the question for all of them. See that they wanted to keep secrets because they were afraid of their own secrets. And when they wouldn't tell the truth, because here's the thing, these are human lives. People are dying because they're not telling the truth. They're not coming forward. People who are involved every step of the way, when I say, I don't want to get involved, you were already involved. It's too late. I already took the screenshots. I already recorded the conversations. You're screwed, dude. Only half of that's, not even half of it, is on YouTube and Facebook. A lot of it I can't post. I just can't. Now, this is a very sensitive subject matter, and as a result, I'm going to play this recording and then I'm going to make it private because I'm not going to have it destroyed. Also, anybody who has any information about Polk County Sheriff's Department, that would be greatly appreciated. I've already got a bunch of stuff. I got to send a guy some stuff in about 48 hours, and then he's wanting to, I guess, do a podcast. I'm not very good at those, obviously, but hopefully he's more honest than Mike Boudet, right? I'm sorry about doing it this way. I mean, I don't know what's going to be happening in the next 48 hours. Um, we're just playing it by ear, right, folks? So we'll go to my Facebook, and we'll play this for you, and hopefully you can hear it. All right. A couple of people sending me friend requests. Let me see. Maybe this is it. Oh, come on now. I'm hooked up to the internet. Body cameras are pretty important, and that would have saved everything. It would have prevented a lot of people from getting killed, would have helped find a lot of missing people. Body cameras. But not just body cameras. See, they have a time limit. If they can illegally or immorally incarcerate you to prevent you from turning them in for a full year, they get to destroy their own body cam evidence. So we need to stop that as well. We need to make it so that these officers can be held accountable because they're destroying human lives. A lot of people who are out here on the streets are out here because of horrible things done to them by law enforcement. Because it was easy to victimize them because they were called mentally ill or because they were broke. All right. We'll start off with this. I didn't know how to take screenshots at the time, so I had to copy and paste. I copy and pasted the message between me and Natalie Bollinger. All right. Here's some more. And yeah, I'm going to read it to you as well. That's the message she sent me. It already started the video, so let me pause it. That's the message that she sent me in, I want to say July 30th of 2016. That was before I went to Virginia. There's also a bunch of messages on my Facebook from me and Natalie while I was in Virginia, and me and her sister while I was in Virginia, and me and Maddie Boa while I was in Virginia. We were friends. Friends. There's also the paperwork from all of my court. You guys, if you can get the news to requisition that stuff, man, they will pop holes right through every single one of those stories. Especially with what's on my Facebook and on my YouTube. They'll go, yep, that was wrong, that was wrong, that was wrong, that was wrong, that was illegal, that was illegal, that was illegal, that was illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal, that was wrong, that was wrong. Why didn't these people show up? 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 Why was there no communication on his behalf in the legal manner that they're supposed to? Yeah, there's a vehicle behind me and it's running, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear this. I do have it turned all the way up. But I posted this right before Natalie was killed on um, the 12th of December of 2017. And then on the 13th is when Natalie called and got a hold of me. And then on the 15th was when she started text messaging me. Um, and then I started walking on the 15th to Miss Peaches so that I could get a ride to Boulder. Once I got to Boulder to finally meet Natalie, well, you got to see what happened there. That's body cam evidence that needed to be requisitioned. Officer Michael West. Yeah, that was horrible. And then predators of mine like Waylon Lolatai getting away because, again, lack of body camera evidence. They wouldn't allow me to have it. They kept bouncing back and forth over whether or not it even existed. Amanda Balehash, who is now a judge in the county that Natalie Bollinger was shot in, told me two different stories about it. Two different ones. First, she told me there wasn't no body cam evidence. Then she told me there was. She said she was gonna try to requisition it. Whatever. So basically, on the 12th, I outlined everything that was going on. It had been going on for over a year. You can tell in it, I do make references to suicide. So please keep that in mind. If you're sensitive, this probably ain't it. This is the reality of how it was for me before Natalie was killed. The reality of going to all these places, talking to Kara Heller, who is my caseworker with Colorado Coalition of the Homeless, and my therapist, Jeff Ritter of Colorado Coalition of the Homeless, and my therapist, Nicole Gerald, and my therapist, Nicole Peralta of Region 1. All these people that I'd gone to before Natalie was killed. There's Joanna Taylor Smith. People have probably asked her questions too. Yeah, absolutely. I think that a Natalie Bollinger movie is a wonderful idea. People need to know. And they'll probably screw it up, seriously. And when they do, there'll probably be a big old scandal, or people just simply won't care because I'm homeless and they'll just assume. And that's horrible. On the bright side, I'm fighting hard as I can. I'm doing the best I can to help people. And although a lot of these guys that say they know something are full of it, a lot of them actually do. And I try to sort out one from the other. Let's play this.
You aren't going to fight for my human rights, but you want me to fight for yours. You want me to stick up for yours, even when you're wrong. It's wrong to want special rights for you. It is. This group bullshit is fucking bullshit. Blaming good men because bad men do bad shit to you. I didn't choose this. I didn't choose this for any of you. There's a thing I just posted. Somebody sent it to me. Somebody who
Natalie sent it
pretended to give a shit. Somebody
over
who
a year and a
pretended
half
to care.
earlier.
I have people threatening me, threatening my life, threatening my family's life, calling me a child molester, calling me a rapist over this girl. The dude who fucking raped her called me up and threatened me over her.
Tim Beeson.
The guy who stole her fucking dog and fucking molested her when she was underage
Tim Beeson.
called me up to threaten my life, to threaten my family's life. He thought he was gonna scare me with a motorcycle club? Are you fucking kidding me, Tim, the bitch boy fucking Beeson? You child molesting fuck?
I'll let you cry.
Right here. Yeah, it's not me that's gonna fucking rape you, it's your goddamn dad. But you treat me like shit for it. And then you treat the guys who tried to fucking kill you like fucking kings. I'm not afraid of the cops. I'm not. I want them to come get me. I want them to fucking kill me. I want to be done with you people and your goddamn excuses. I don't deserve this fucking cruelty. Tim deserves this cruelty. Ted deserves this cruelty.
Told you. I exposed them both. Oh yeah, I was gonna read that, wasn't I? Alright. Alright. It says so much. Oh wait. Okay, so I guess I'll start from the beginning. What the hell? Alright, there it goes.
You are my enemies.
It says, okay, so I guess I'll start from the beginning. So my mom left when Alicia and I were 3. She was 19 and married to my father. He was cheating and beating her. My dad told her that he was going to kill her if she didn't leave. So she left us as well and moved to Rhode Island. I got messages between me and Rose, by the way. That's her mother. And moved to Rhode Island. That's where she met Bobby Forrest, I suppose. He's still missing, by the way. My dad was in and out of jail, and somehow my mom heard he was facing prison time. Alicia and I were 8 at this time. My dad was in the run, and my mom shows up. I knew who she was, but I was told awful things about her my whole life. That she burnt me with cigs, etc. But part of me knew no one it was true. I was being raised by rich wolves. My mom fought for us for months. She got custody because we were being raised by awful humans. I was happy to leave, but I didn't know this woman I was calling Mom. I had a brother I'd never met, and I hated him. My mom left our family and started a new one, but he was a baby, so I didn't hate him for long. My dad moved to Rhode Island running. We went back and forth between them for years. My mom would lose us for having dangerous men around. Then we'd go back to my dad until he'd start doing drugs again. My dad got custody of us. He wasn't allowed to drink because he becomes demonic, but he's my dad, so of course he did. He was having an affair at the time, and I was woken up my screams from my mother, or from my stepmother, Shelley. They had has 2 children by this time. He had been drinking and he was trying to kill Shelley. He was hitting her face on the curb repeatedly until she wasn't moving.
You weren't gonna fight my
Whoa,
human
sorry
rights.
about that, folks. Let me turn down the volume because it's starting on its. As soon as you scroll down that far, it autoplays. Let's see. Let's see. And I was woken up my screams from my stepmother, Shelley. They had has 2 children by this time. He had been drinking and was trying to kill Shelley. He was hitting her face on the curb repeatedly until she wasn't moving. There was much more, but yeah, so my mom got custody for a long time. Then she married this very abusive man. It got to the point where the judge said she wasn't allowed near of us children. But he scared my mom, so she still let him live with us. Meanwhile, my dad moved back to Colorado. He came and proved he was there and took Alicia and I. Shortly after, had us selling drugs for him at 13 and 14. He was hitting us and doing drugs with us, while being a little too friendly. So, my sister told on him. This was while I knew you at the park. We were put into foster care. My mom had moved to Virginia to get away from her husband, and we were in and at a foster home. I hadn't spoken with her in a year or so before I asked her to come get me. They were going to hold me in a group home until I was 21 because I wouldn't stop getting high. We moved to Virginia, and I think you know the rest. That's most my story. I also forwarded that to over 100 people now who said that they were going to help, who did nothing with it. The actual email, literally from Natalie's literal email. Not just me reading it, not me having to copy and paste it, but me being able to literally forward her email. They can check it. It's a forward from her email. A message literally to me. Guys, type your email addresses in the bottom here. I'll do my best to copy and paste them to a list, and tomorrow I will take that list, because I have to use 2 different Gmail accounts. I'll copy and paste everything on that list, and I will put it on there, and I will send all of you that very first letter, that thing that I just read, as proof that I was telling the truth the whole time. You'll get to see the date, you'll get to see the time, you'll get to read her words. Like I said, I hope they make a Natalie Bollinger movie. It'll help to expose the corruption in this country. Good luck, y'all. And you are your brother's keeper.